G'day guys, I'm Adam, the Mini War Painter, and in this video I'm going to be taking a look at another painting technique called feathering, as well as how I painted the rusted weathered effect to my Death Guard power armour. I'll catch you after the intro. Okay, just a reminder, this is part 2 to the video series on how to paint the Death Guard power armour. In part 1, I showed you how to create that natural colour scheme to the Death Guard power armour, whilst in this video I'm going to be showing you how to create that rusty, corroded, signature weathered effect that the Death Guard have. Now, if you're new to this series and you want to learn how to blend your colours together, well, I recommend checking out part 1 first, because there I teach you a painting technique called glazing, which is perfect for just that.
Okay, so if I can go watch that video and learn how to blend, then what's the point in watching this video?
Yes, good point. Well, you'll be surprised to hear then that glazing isn't the only painting technique that we have in our little bag of tricks in order to make look good. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at feathering. And for those of you that are unaware of what feathering really is, it's when you slap a layer of paint to your model, and before it has time to dry, you quickly rinse the paint off your brush, and with those wet, damp bristles, you then feather away the edges of the paint. And this will taper off that pigment, allowing some of that other colour to show through, giving you a much more smoother transition between the two tones on your model. In this video, I'll be demonstrating this technique as I feather the edges away to the base tone of our weathered effect. And this will make it appear far more natural as opposed to another layer just slapped on. Let's get to it. So if you're looking now, this is where we stand after completing part 1 of this video series. The natural finish to the Death Guard colour scheme has been painted, and we're now ready to build up some weathering to finally give the armour that post-heresy Death Guard signature appearance, which you can see here now. By the end of this tutorial, this is what we're going to be left with: a rotten, corroded, dirty, satisfying piece of artwork. To start things off, it's Vallejo chocolate brown, which we're going to water down into a semi-glazing consistency and use to apply around a selective range of rivets, into any cracks, and in a couple of deep recesses, where crap would just naturally collect into. Notice the fluidness I've made the consistency of the paint, nice and moist. Enough to remain wet on the model long enough for me to clean my brush and feather the pigment around the edges away. This, everyone, is feathering. The technique reduces the harshness of a tone in relation to its surrounding colours, alleviating the appearance that it was put there by a paintbrush. This was the first advanced painting technique I ever tried out, and I used it to create the smooth blends on the cape to my Marnius Calgar, pre-Primaris era, and I must say he was the most beautifulest lump of lead I'd laid my eyes on, ever. When it came to all the intricate detail around the colour, I turned the consistency into more of a wash, with the intentions to just slap it in there and mop any excess up afterwards. Work smart, not hard. And with that first step completed, the armour is already looking so much more Death Guardy. It's just a case now to progress on through a couple more tones to enhance the rusted effect. Which brings me onto Vallejo Light Rust. Now, depending on where this is getting applied to on the model, I may use it like I use chocolate brown, and thin it down again with the intentions to feather the edges out. Or in some cases, I'll avoid thinning the pigment down as much and just use it to apply spot highlight inside the base effect I've laid down already. It just depends really how awkward it is to keep in this colour inside of the parameters of the chocolate brown, because we don't want this running outside of those areas. It has to stay inside. With that stage done, we're almost finished. Next is orange brown, and this is kept as a spot highlight, keeping in mind that at this stage, less is more. And that's the weathering complete. The only thing left to do is to tidy up some of the flatter areas of the armour, bringing back that off-white finish we started with. Slapping around these brown tones have really mucked up the armour, a bit too much for my liking. So I'll give all those flat areas a glaze of pure pallid witch flesh. And that's the armour complete. There's something about painting Death Guard armour that's quite forgiving. Because the armour is meant to appear scuffed, scratched and abused, we can get away with a lot more painting errors than we can when painting something that's meant to be so much cleaner, such as an ultramarine for example. Every imperfection is as it should be, an imperfection. If there's one thing to remember about weathering, it's that less is more. Avoid getting too carried away when creating it, and don't be shy to clean things up if they do become too overpowering. And that's all there is to it. Now before I say my goodbyes and tell you not to be shy to mix those paints, I want to share with you this box set that I picked up by Vallejo. It's called Rust, Stain and Streaking, and it has 8 acrylic colours tailored for creating those grimy, corroded, muddy ideas that you have for your war-torn veterans. It's a great set with a wide range of browns, perfect for more than just weathering.
Alright then, what else can these browns be used for then, if not just for weathering?
Well, to pluck one idea out of the air, I guess, maybe a brass non-metallic metal effect perhaps? But what do I know? Last final point, feathering. Remember, thin your paints down to a consistency where you can still slap a good layer on the model, but it won't dry up on you too quickly. And finally, layer the colour onto your model, quickly rinse your brush, and then look to just feather the pigment along the edges of where you've applied it, aiming to just taper off the pigment so that the colour from underneath can show through. Thanks for watching everyone. I really hope you found this video useful, and I hope that feathering is a technique now that you feel confident that you can use and create some brilliant effects with. For me personally, feathering was the first technique that I came across when looking to get away from that GW way of painting, because base coating, recess washing, edge highlighting, it's good, but it doesn't work on everything. Capes is a perfect example of this. It was this new initiative to hunting for new videos like this one in order to learn ways to create those smooth results on my models, and feathering was the first painting technique that I came across, and it paid off dearly. If you're new to the channel, you can find me on Instagram at miniwar_painter, and if you'd like to support the channel, you can do so on Patreon by clicking on the link on the description box below. Joining me on Patreon, you'll have access to a load more tutorials, things on OSL, non-metallic metals, capes, cloths, bones, other textures. My most recent tutorial is on painting Guilliman's flaming sword. There's loads on there. I've even created a catalogue which you can download for free, and it lists every tutorial I've ever made, and you can literally just flick through its pages and take a look to see if there's anything you're interested in before you join. Thanks again for watching everyone. Don't be shy to mix those paints. Ta-ra.